Mike Briggs is our cattle market analyst this week. While we've filmed in some admittedly unpleasant weather conditions with Mike over the last few years, our interview Wednesday was the first time we were forced inside. If you live in this part of Nebraska and experienced Wednesday's strong winds, you know why. In Omaha, the peak 5-second wind gust was measured at 60 miles per hour, and Lincoln recorded gusts at 56 miles per hour. With high prices, the latest sterling beef profit tracker shows it's not a bad time to be in the feedlot industry. For the week ending March 22nd, the average profit was more than $247 per head. Last Friday's Cattle on Feed report showed placements were 15% higher than 2013, a trend that was evident at the Briggs feed yard where Mike said his lots were full.
Yes, we're in really good shape. You've had a lot of placement opportunities that you probably didn't think you were going to have after the first year. Plus, there's been a nice availability of feeders, which was totally unexpected.
Where are those coming from?
That's a great question, because all you've heard about all spring is how bad the wheat was down south. I think there was a lot of feed bunk space this fall, and I think maybe some people had to cut some dryland corn for silage and they needed something to do. So I think there's a lot of backgrounded cattle out there that maybe people didn't know about or think about, and I think that's the way some guys were able to pencil out and be able to afford to have cattle.
Based off of what's happening here and in the Cattle on Feed report, do you think it's a tendency that a lot of feedlots are fairly full?
Depends on the part of the country you're in. If you're in Nebraska and you either didn't blow yourself up last year or you've got the funds to do it, those yards are full and I think will remain full. The guys that struggled, that couldn't get full, I don't know what's going on with them, and I know Texas is just a nightmare. So it's kind of I-70 north is where most of the cattle are.
Yeah, now if you're in it now, the margins have to be pretty good. How good are they?
Like we talked earlier, I've never seen, and people that had been in the business 40 years had never seen it as bad as it was the previous 2 years. And I, for one, have never seen it as good as it is. Profitability is excellent. If you had the cattle, it's working really well.
Now, he says with a smile. Now, are you starting to price some cattle as well?
We have started to price cattle. We kind of felt yesterday was a big cash trade. I don't know when you show this on Saturdays.
Which you watch all the time, obviously. It was odd that you asked me when this airs, but go ahead.
Always working. We had a big cash trade yesterday, so you had a big higher open in the board today, and we just thought that was a good time. They were levels that were profitable. Take a little risk off the table. Now, those people that did that last fall, they're hating every minute of it because they've given away a lot of margin. We may have made the same mistake, but my concern with this market is, as good as the cash market is, it's at such a premium to the board, and that's because they've ran out of buyers. There is so much fund length, and we can't seem to narrow this basis, and the basis is going to have to narrow here because we're going to get into delivery. So is it cash coming to the board, or is the board finally going to go to cash? I don't know, but if it's coming down, if cash starts to relent and come down towards the board, there's so much fund length that when they decide to get out, this thing's going to get ugly really fast.
Well, some people are saying that on the crop side as well, and Monday we'll get a few big reports. Are you trying to position yourself one way or other based on corn?
I'm really going to stay flat because I have no idea what the report's going to do. I am, however, thinking about fading whichever way the report comes out. If it's bullish and we get a higher open, might be time to not buy any corn or sell a little corn. And if we open lower, might be time you better put a little bit in your pocket so you got a little bit of length. I think as we go forward, I don't hold a lot of hope for corn unless it stays dry, and it's very dry.
But the numbers that we're seeing, the possible acres in the low 90s, what would that do?
Low 90s is going to be bullish. Now, if we come out with like what Informa and Bloomberg came out with yesterday at 93, I don't think that scares anybody. That's just 2 million less than last year. I don't think that's a big deal. You get down and, my gosh, if they come out with a below 90 or a 90 or a 91, that might make you a little skittish. It's gonna have to put more risk premium in the market because now you've got less acres and you don't exactly have favorable weather conditions right now.
Yeah, we're getting to that time of year where maybe you start thinking about grilling season and hoping that it helps you out on demand. Are prices too high, though, to bail it out this time?
From what I understand and talking to the beef board, they aren't. And I think it's just a simple fact that people like to eat meat. And the other thing that we're doing, 60% of the product that goes through retail is hamburger. People like hamburger. It's versatile, it's easy to cook, and that's really helping us. And the fact that there aren't cow there's not a lot of cow slaughter right now, so there's not a lot of cow meat to blend the hamburger down. We're having to grind up our ends. Well, that takes more meat off the market, but it's going into a form that consumer wants and is at this point willing to pay for. So from what I can see, grilling season could be really good. I don't care whether it's hamburgers or steaks. I think we're in good shape.
So going forward over the next month, would you say you're cautiously bullish in cattle?
I think that until proven wrong, I think the seasonal is still in place. I think we're in good shape till they get their Memorial Day demand covered. And then, gosh, with the placements we had last month, and I expect above normal placements again this month, it frightens me, quite frankly, because you are at such a high level, it's a long ways down.